Hey guys, how is it all going? So finally, the day had arrived. The Last of Us episode 1 dropped. And I stayed up late till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch the premiere of The Last of Us. And as you guys already know, or if you don't know, I am such a huge fan of the first game. It is the best game I have ever played. It's hands down a masterpiece in my eyes. And I've been so looking forward to this series and praying and hoping and having my fingers crossed that it was going to do the game justice. And I am so happy to tell you guys, based on the first episode anyway, that they absolutely nailed it. I was so happy by the end of this episode. And also upset because where this episode finished, I could have easily have carried on watching the next 8 episodes back to back. I probably would have binged this easily last night. So my only negative already is having to wait week by week for the next episode. This is how good this first episode was. So to touch briefly on the first episode, I might go into spoilers maybe here or there, and I won't mean to, but I will assume that you guys have played the game. If you haven't played the game, I will try and keep it vague. I will do my best. But I'm just going to assume with this review that you guys have played the game. So I would recommend watching the first episode now before my review and then come back to me. But if you don't care about spoilers, guys, please stay with me. And I'm going to give you my opinion on the first episode. So, what I really enjoyed about this first episode was, like, basically the first half an hour where we basically see the start of the apocalypse. And I really enjoyed how it really played through the character of Sarah's Eyes, which is Joel's daughter. And it's very similar to the start of the game because you play as Sarah and you're watching this unfold through her eyes as you're controlling her. And I liked how it was more drawn out in the episode. Like, it's basically the whole day, whereas in the game, it starts in the evening and then, we go into the start of the apocalypse, basically. But I like how they draw this out throughout the day. And I like the little subtle, hints you're getting that something is not quite right. Like, something bad is around the corner. And it does give you this uneasy feeling, like that there's a real tension simmering and building up before, like, everything goes to shit. And I just like the little subtle noises, like people coughing in the background, or there's a certain person that just doesn't look right. And then you're hearing sirens in the background, and then as the day is progressing, things are getting like a little bit worse. People are getting uneasy. You're seeing police cars and ambulances and fire trucks just bombing it, down the road, and eventually we get to when shit goes down. And I loved the part where Joel and Tommy and Sarah jump in the truck and they're driving into town, and it's taken from the game so perfectly that I was just sat there like, oh, they're keeping so faithful to the moments in the game that are so important. And that's what I was so happy with. When they're adapting it into a TV series, into a live action, they're going to make changes to certain things. Of course you do. If you're going into the series like everything is going to be from the game, absolutely everything, then you're going to be a little bit disappointed. But I feel like the changes that they've made in this series, I'm really happy with. Like, the changes that could be made, and it works. It is working for me so far. But they stay faithful to things in the game that are really important as well. If you get what I mean, I just feel like the changes they've made and the decisions they've gone with, they've hit the nail on the head for me. And obviously, we all know what happens with Sarah. And if you haven't played, if you haven't played the game, or people have played the game, you know the moment I mean. When I played the game, that moment ripped my heart out so much, and it's the first time in my life that a game actually made me cry before the opening credits came up. It generally did. And I'm not ashamed to admit this, guys. Watching that moment last night in this episode, I cried again. I teared up. And it seemed to have more of a harder impact on me watching it in the series than what it did in the game. I cried my eyes out. I had to go and get some tissue for me. I was like, Jesus Christ, what is, it really hit me on an emotional level. And that was just such a good job that this series did. And then obviously we go 20 years later after that moment, and just the world has completely gone to shit. This fungus has just took over, and it just feels like The Last of Us. Just how it looks, down to the characters, down to the music. Oh, the music. Before I go any further, they have the same guy who did the soundtrack for the game, has done the music for the series, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I adored this first episode. I hope and pray this series carries on with the absolute strong start that it's made. I really do. And there's no doubt in my mind that this series is just going to go from strength to strength, and I am so on board. I'm so happy. Like, if you can't tell, I am so happy. So, just to quickly get into our characters, Joel, Pedro Pascal, nails it. This is Joel. He just nails it. Like, I like the way he's playing Joel in this series. I mean, he's tough, he's hardened, it's like he's got no heart, and I'm not surprised after what happened to him. You know what I mean? That to make him get to the point of where he is. But there's a vulnerability about him in this series as well. And Pedro Pascal just nails it. The guy is a phenomenal actor. And I can't wait, knowing the story, knowing what happens as this series go on, how he is going to progress his performance as Joel. I just cannot wait to see what more he does with this performance. It really does excite me to see where he could take Joel. A lot of people were worried about Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Don't be. Don't be. As far as I'm concerned, I can see this young lady stealing the show. Yes, she doesn't look anything like Ellie, but it really doesn't matter. She has the spirit and the heart of Ellie. She is Ellie. Already in one episode, in the brief moments that we had with her, I was just sat there watching this young girl going, that's Ellie. That's her personality. That's it. And there's no doubt she is going to do great as the series goes on. Like I say, I would not be surprised by the end of the series if she is the standout for me. And she was the one I was a little bit concerned of. I'm not anymore. Absolutely not. And all the other characters like Gabriel Luna that plays Tommy. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Because I love Tommy. He was like one of my favourite characters in the games. And he, again, I'm just going to repeat myself. He just nails the spirit and the heart of Tommy. Like, already in the short amount of time that I say. I just feel like it's been perfectly cast. Tess, Marlene, and it's actually the same actress in the game that played Marlene is playing her in the series, which is a nice touch. I never knew that until I was watching the series last night. Just everyone just nails it. Nails it. I couldn't be happier, guys. This isn't really a review of the episode. It's just more me gushing over it. But I can't emphasize just my expectations were right up here, and I was really trying to lower them down because it only ends in heartbreak. But my God, it absolutely jumped it. It eclipsed it. And I'm so happy. So happy to tell you guys that I think already this year, this could be the best TV series of the year. If not what I've seen, I would say in the last kind of 5 years. And I know that's a very strong, bold statement to make in just one episode, but I really do feel like, and I don't want to throw this word around because it is a little bit too early, but I feel like we really could have a masterpiece on our hands here. I really do. So you wouldn't be surprised to hear this, guys. The Last of Us, the first episode, I am going to give a very strong 5 out of 5. Even if you haven't played this game, and this is another compliment towards this series, you don't have to. Like, you really don't. And the way they've done the series, they are doing this presuming like you haven't played the game. But there's nice touches in there that if you have played the game, they're giving you like a little wink and a little nod to, and it gives me a warm feeling inside. Like, I love it. But guys, have you watched the first episode yet? What did you think of it? Were you a fan of the game? Have you not played the game? But what do you think of the series so far? I would love to get your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. It is always an absolute pleasure hearing from you. And, as always, guys, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.